Could it be true that HYBE is hiding something far darker than we imagined? That question has hung in the air since the start of the year, when shocking news suddenly struck ARMY worldwide. Park Seo-joon, who has long been known for keeping a distance from entertainment rumors, has finally spoken out about HYBE's actions toward Jungkook and Taehyung. Park Seo-joon's statement hit like a lightning bolt in the middle of a storm, sparking waves of concern that no one could have foreseen. How could two BTS members, who have become symbols of perseverance and loyalty for fans, be completely overlooked during a tour that should have been a pinnacle moment in their careers? What is really happening behind the scenes, so tightly guarded by HYBE's protocols? Park Seo-joon's words are not only shocking for their courage, but also for the hints he gave about tensions that have long gone unseen. For years, ARMY has seen Jungkook and Taehyung as energetic, smiling, flawless figures on stage. But this latest news reveals a rarely seen side. Hidden injustice amid the cheers of the entertainment world, management decisions seemingly prioritizing business strategy over artists' well-being, and the lingering frustration shadowing two beloved idols. Could this signal a major shift in the dynamics between BTS and HYBE? Park Seo-joon, who seldom comments directly on the industry, appears to mark a crucial turning point. In his startling interview, he hinted that the debates between management and the group members are far from empty rumors. Decisions have been deliberately made, potentially altering both personal and professional relationships between HYBE and its artists. For ARMY, who have faithfully followed every step of BTS, this is not just news. It is an alarm bell, awakening curiosity and concern all at once. What is most shocking is how Park Seo-joon highlighted the unequal treatment of Jungkook and Taehyung compared to the other members. During a tour that should have showcased their talent and energy, these two stars appeared overlooked, left to navigate a grueling schedule without the attention they deserved from management. Questions arise. Is this coincidence or a deliberate strategy? How did Jungkook and Taehyung feel when moments that should have been memorable turned into experiences full of pressure and uncertainty? All of this brings us to the core of the controversy now shaking the K-pop world. Is HYBE truly placing business above humanity, above emotions, above the friendship and loyalty built over the years? Park Seo-joon offered subtle hints, enough to make ARMY feel that secrets are deliberately being kept. He emphasized that the emotional and professional consequences of these decisions are far more serious than what the public sees, and now the question becomes even more urgent. How will Jungkook and Taehyung respond to this treatment? Will they remain loyal to the path they've chosen, or will this warning trigger dramatic changes in their careers and even in HYBE's management structure? This has become a suspenseful mystery, waiting for each next move that could change the history of K-pop forever. The shockwaves from Park Seo-joon's revelation were immediate. Social media erupted with speculation, hashtags, and theories, each one trying to make sense of what many had suspected but never dared to voice. Fans dissected every word, every pause, every glimmer of emotion in his statements, searching for hidden clues that might explain why HYBE, a powerhouse in the K-pop world, seemed to sideline Jungkook and Taehyung during what should have been a historic tour. The silence from the company only intensified the tension. ARMY were left in a state of collective anxiety, wondering if their beloved idols were being pushed to the brink, forced to endure a system that prioritized profit over passion, numbers over humanity. Yet, even amid the uproar, Park Seo-joon's calm but pointed words carried weight. He didn't accuse, he hinted. He didn't reveal everything, but every sentence dropped like a breadcrumb leading to a truth many feared. The management's handling of Jungkook and Taehyung was not just neglect, it was a calculated act, one that carried consequences far beyond a single concert or tour stop. Fans began to connect the dots, remembering small moments that had seemed insignificant. The subtle distancing during interviews, the rare appearances that felt forced, the energy that seemed dampened on stage. Patterns emerged, suggesting a deliberate marginalization that could no longer be ignored. The emotional toll on Jungkook and Taehyung, according to insiders who spoke to select media outlets, was far greater than anyone could see. Jungkook, usually the embodiment of joy and resilience, was reportedly carrying a quiet frustration that only those closest to him could perceive. In practice rooms, sources say, his movements occasionally betrayed a heaviness that contrasted sharply with the perfection fans were used to. Taehyung, on the other hand, who often radiates charm and playfulness, was said to have moments of deep reflection, staring into space as if contemplating the invisible walls that HYBE had placed around them. The image of these two idols, struggling under unseen pressure while the world watched a polished performance, was enough to provoke both heartbreak and outrage. Park Seo-joon's timing was also critical. Early in the year, when expectations for BTS were at a peak, his comments disrupted the carefully maintained narrative. ARMY had been preparing for celebrations, new music, upcoming shows, and the promise of shared moments with idols they had followed for over a decade. Instead, Park's revelation introduced doubt, raising questions that went beyond scheduling conflicts or minor disagreements. Could the very structure of HYBE be putting the band at risk? Was there a systemic issue that threatened not only the happiness of Jungkook and Taehyung but the future of BTS as a global phenomenon? What makes this situation even more perplexing is the lack of official response. HYBE, known for its meticulous control over messaging, remained silent as the storm brewed. Every delayed statement, every ambiguous comment, fed the speculation. Fans interpreted the silence as confirmation, a tacit acknowledgement that the concerns raised by Park Seo-joon were not unfounded. The tension between public appearances and private realities became a focal point for discussion. How could idols smile and perform flawlessly on stage while enduring a management system that seemed to undervalue their contributions and well-being? Emotions ran high in the fan community. Social media became a place of both solidarity and anxiety, as ARMY debated the motives behind HYBE's actions. Some argued that the company was focused solely on financial strategy, overlooking the human aspect of its most valuable assets. Others feared that this neglect could fracture the unity of BTS, the bond that had been meticulously nurtured over years of hard work, sacrifice, and shared experiences. Every post, every video clip, every subtle gesture from Jungkook and Taehyung was scrutinized, analyzed for hints of frustration or distress. In a world where perception often defines reality, fans were desperate for answers, searching for anything that might explain the growing tension behind the glittering facade of fame. Park Seo-joon's intervention, though subtle, also introduced a new layer of hope. By speaking out, he reminded fans that not all truths are hidden forever, and that even within a highly controlled industry, there are voices brave enough to challenge the status quo. His words acted as both a warning and a beacon, a warning of potential hardship for Jungkook and Taehyung if the situation continued unchecked, and a beacon for transparency, signaling that the reality behind the polished images on stage is more complex and human than ever acknowledged in private circles. Discussions about HYBE's handling of its artists have reportedly intensified. Executives, managers, and close associates have been debating the implications of neglecting key members during a tour, weighing the risks to public perception against the company's broader strategic objectives. Every decision carries weight, not only for the immediate success of events and releases, but also for the long-term legacy of BTS. The delicate balance between artistic integrity, idol welfare, and corporate profit has rarely been so visibly in question. Meanwhile, Jungkook and Taehyung's personal experiences have become a central focus. Sources indicate that their friendship, once marked by effortless support and shared laughter, is now navigating unseen tensions. While the duo has always presented a united front, insiders hint that moments of silent frustration and subtle disagreements have begun to surface. Whether these are minor strains or signs of deeper conflict remains unknown, but the emotional resonance is unmistakable. Fans sense the vulnerability, the pressure, and the longing for acknowledgement that perhaps even fame cannot fulfill. As the days pass, the world watches closely. Every interview, every social media update, every performance is scrutinized for signs of change, for hints of resolution or escalation. ARMY, armed with passion and an unmatched attention to detail, remains vigilant, interpreting gestures, expressions, and subtle interactions as pieces of a larger puzzle. The stakes are immense. This is not merely about the entertainment industry or corporate strategy. It is about the well-being of two young men whose lives have been devoted to art, performance, and connection with their fans. What will be the next move for HYBE? Will the company address the concerns raised by Park Seo-joon and acknowledge the emotional impact of their management choices? Or will the silence continue, allowing rumors, speculation, and frustration to grow unchecked? For Jungkook and Taehyung, the path ahead is uncertain, filled with both risk and opportunity. The resilience they have shown throughout their careers will be tested in ways that few could have anticipated. And for ARMY, the emotional journey is equally intense. Loyalty, concern, and hope intertwine as fans grapple with the reality that even the brightest stars face unseen struggles. Every message of support, every campaign, every collective outpouring of love is an attempt to bridge the gap between the controlled world of management and the raw, human experience of the idols themselves. Park Seo-joon's voice has ignited this awareness, reminding everyone that behind the stage lights and worldwide fame lies a reality that is fragile, complicated, and profoundly human. The tension was not confined to social media and fan speculation. Those who have observed BTS closely began noticing subtle changes in public appearances. Jungkook, whose smile had always been effortless, now seemed slightly restrained, as if each movement carried the weight of unspoken thoughts. Taehyung, known for his playful charisma and unpredictable energy, displayed moments of quiet reflection, often staring into space during rehearsals and backstage preparations. Observers could not help but wonder whether these glimpses of vulnerability were mere fatigue or signs of deeper emotional strain. Within the walls of HYBE's offices, the atmosphere was reportedly no less charged. Executives and managers, accustomed to meticulous planning and controlled public narratives, found themselves navigating an unprecedented situation. Park Seo-joon's statements had disrupted the balance between business objectives and public image, forcing HYBE to confront questions that many in the company had preferred to avoid. Discussions reportedly became more urgent, delving into ethical considerations about artist welfare, tour management, and the long-term implications of neglecting two of the company's most influential figures. Every decision made in those boardrooms carried consequences. For HYBE, the stakes extended far beyond financial reports or tour revenues. They were now intertwined with the public perception of BTS's unity and well-being. Missteps could incite backlash from millions of fans worldwide, while careful communication could prevent further speculation but might require uncomfortable admissions about internal management strategies. The delicate interplay between transparency and corporate discretion had never been more visible or more precarious. Meanwhile, fans began piecing together moments from past performances, interviews, and behind-the-scenes footage that suddenly seemed more significant. A glance held too long, a silence that lingered, or a movement that lacked its usual enthusiasm were analyzed endlessly. Every subtle gesture became a potential clue, a window into the challenges Jungkook and Taehyung were enduring. For ARMY, the need to protect their idols evolved from fandom into advocacy, driven by a desire to see fairness restored and emotional balance maintained. The emotional resonance of the situation was heightened by the public's awareness of Park Seo-joon's reputation. Known for his careful yet honest demeanor, his choice to speak out lent credibility to the concerns. Fans interpreted his intervention as a rare, authoritative voice breaking the veil of secrecy that often surrounds major K-pop agencies. His hints about mismanagement and selective attention were seen not merely as observations, but as warnings, signals that the idols might be at risk of being emotionally and professionally sidelined during a critical period in their careers. For Jungkook and Taehyung, the reality of this scrutiny added another layer of complexity. While their lives have always been public to some degree, the combination of fan attention and internal pressures created an environment where every action was weighed for meaning, often inaccurately. Sources close to the group have suggested that the duo is navigating these pressures with a remarkable degree of professionalism, even as they grapple with internal frustrations and moments of doubt. Yet, even the strongest individuals have limits, and the concern expressed by Park Seo-joon highlighted the potential emotional toll that such sustained oversight, or lack thereof, can inflict. The implications for BTS's internal dynamics are equally significant. Trust, communication, and shared experience have always been central to the group's cohesion. The perception of unequal treatment, however subtle, can ripple through relationships, challenging long-established patterns of support and understanding. Observers note that BTS's members have historically managed conflicts with discretion, often prioritizing group unity over personal grievance. But the spotlight cast by Park Seo-joon raises the stakes, making private tensions more visible and potentially more impactful on both personal relationships and professional collaboration. It is also worth considering the broader implications for the K-pop industry. BTS, as one of the most influential acts in the world, sets precedents for management practices, artist autonomy, and fan engagement. How HYBE handles the concerns surrounding Jungkook and Taehyung may influence industry norms, particularly regarding transparency, communication, and the prioritization of artist welfare. The situation serves as a microcosm of the tension between commercial imperatives and human considerations, a dynamic that resonates far beyond any single group or agency. Fans, meanwhile, remain vigilant. Every new post, every video clip, every performance is scrutinized, analyzed, and debated. The emotional investment is extraordinary, fueled not only by admiration for the idol's talents, but also by empathy for their experiences. ARMY has become a quasi-investigative community, piecing together fragments of information, interpreting subtle cues, and expressing collective concern through hashtags, petitions, and public statements. The depth of fan engagement underscores the intensity of the situation and the emotional stakes for all involved. Park Seo-joon's remarks also cast a spotlight on the often invisible labor of idols. Fans may see polished performances and flawless choreography, but behind the scenes lies a complex network of rehearsals, schedules, media obligations, and personal management decisions. The perception of neglect or unequal treatment during these processes can have profound psychological effects, especially for young artists navigating global fame. In this context, Park Seo-joon's intervention becomes not just a revelation but an urgent call to examine how the industry treats those at its center. As speculation continues, questions multiply. Will HYBE respond in a manner that restores balance and addresses concerns? How will Jungkook and Taehyung process and react to the revelations? Could this moment catalyze broader changes within the company, influencing not only their treatment but also the expectations and protections afforded to other artists? These questions remain unanswered, each one carrying the weight of potential impact on careers, relationships, and industry norms.